go ahead and get started. You should see my slides on the screen. There's a slide now that says Paralegal Power Breaks, Get Serious, Knocking Down Career Barriers. This is the third in the series, Get Serious series. We started the series on Tuesday of this week, and we are ending the series today with Knocking Down Career Barriers. Now, this series is all about getting over the hurdle of career stagnation, getting unstuck, and getting serious about the future of your career and not getting stuck in a job mentality, just working a 9-to-5 job to make money, but being and becoming a professional paralegal. And a professional paralegal requires more than what's necessary to work a paralegal job. And so this is the last in the series. It will provide you with some ways that you can overcome career challenges. There are barriers on your way to success. Anything that you want to achieve in life, there will be barriers, there will be challenges to overcome. Those barriers and those challenges do not have to stop you. You can still achieve your goal. We talked about yesterday setting your mind to succeed. You first have to make up your mind that you will succeed, so that when challenges come, because they will, your mind will already be made up, and you will start going into the mode of how do I overcome this? What do I need to do? What can I get to help me that I do not currently have? So it will set that treadmill going to where you start doing what's necessary to reach that goal, regardless of the barrier being there or not. And those barriers we talked about yesterday, what some challenges could be. Some could be self-erected. There could be mindsets that you have yourself, but others could be coming from external sources. But regardless of where those challenges are coming from, you can overcome them by making up your mind that you will overcome them. With that, you cannot underestimate the power of one. Sometimes when challenges come, you may think that you are all alone and you can't handle it and you don't have enough this and you don't have enough that, and so you start underestimating the power of one, yourself. Belief in yourself is all that's needed to reach your goal. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate the power of one. And you must be courageous. There are challenges that will come your way. Different challenges. Some challenges that might not be that serious. Other challenges can be an illness. An illness can come your way. And most people would tell you, let's say, for instance, you're working towards your education, or you're working on starting and developing a job or a service, and you get ill. Most people, even well-meaning people, most well-meaning will tell you, you know what, just let it go. Just focus on this, let it go. That's just not meant for you to do. But that may not be the case. It may be that you have to do less of something. It may take you longer to do something than it would normally take. So it just requires you to be courageous and to still deal with whatever that challenge is. But let's say it's not a health challenge. Let's say it's a manager or an owner of a company, and you are dealing with some very serious challenges. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. I don't think it was a Manchurian Candidate, The Firm, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe this was the movie with Keanu Reeves in the movie. And he, if I'm not, had finished law school, bright-eyed, bushy tails, gets hired for this firm. Well, he gets hired for this firm, law firm, and this firm is very just into all kinds of things, just deadly things, and just very unscrupulous, and not just unscrupulous to the matter of, a lot of people say that lawyers lie, And, some find that to be, problematic for the legal field, for lawyers in general. But it was more than just that, So there was a lot of things going on in this firm, and I think his life was in danger, and his wife's life was in danger, and there was a lot of things going on there. And this was all that was going. This was because of a career decision, or what happens when you're working on a particular case. Another movie, there's, I know most people have heard of, Broderick. Not Broderick, she was a paralegal. I can't think of her name right now, but there was a movie made out of it. She worked on, I believe it was like mass tort, where in this town, this company was causing people within that particular town to become sick. And she took this company on, or this huge organization or company on pretty much herself. She wasn't even a lawyer, but, she worked under a lawyer, and she kept convincing him to keep moving forward, and she did a lot of the legwork. It took a lot of courage to be able to do that because, of course, there was a lot of things that were occurring. She was being threatened. There was all kind of things going on there. So when you make up your mind that you're going to be serious about your career, you really have to be courageous. You have to be courageous. You have to be able to have that. And to be proactive. Some things you can see before they happen. You know that something is going to occur just based off of past experience, just based off of just knowing how things happen. It's difficult to take the LSAT if you're working, to go to law school. That's known. You can be an extremely smart person, but for the most part, the LSAT is difficult for most people, the majority of people. So you don't want to be reactive, and after you fail the LSAT the first time, then you start studying. Then you start getting serious about it and putting in all these hours to study. Be proactive. Determine how many hours you will be studying a week. And then confront issues head on. Sometimes we duck our heads in the sand and, out of fear or out of, whatever reason we do these things, or we ignore and we deny. We're in denial about that something really is an issue. And that causes us not to deal with it and not to confront it. But as long as you allow an issue to linger and not be confronted, that's how long it's going to sit there. It's like a bully. It's like a bully. If you can think back in grade school, I remember there was this bully. And, this one girl, he used to just mess with her all the time. Or maybe this is some show. But anyway, I'm just thinking of bullies in general. But bullies, they usually pick on people that they think that are weaker than them. And I'll say all of the time, bullies pick on people that they think or they perceive to be weaker than they are, or that they still don't have what's necessary to really deal with them. Let's say, for instance, you're a paralegal and you work in a law firm and you deal with there's an attorney. An attorney just, very rude. Really, it hinges on being sexual harassment or something, or discrimination or whatever. That it's not legal. It's really just not necessarily being rude. It's really just cross the line, really. And you're dealing with this. And this person does this because they don't think that you have there's nothing that you can do. They perceive you as being powerless, that you can't do anything. And so you perceive yourself that way. That goes back to the first statement I made about not underestimating the power of one. Because you may perceive yourself this way and you're miserable. You're miserable. You're going to work every day. You're miserable. You don't like your job. And you're dealing with this person that really is a bully. And there's, something called workplace bullying. It does exist. And so there's all the issues that you're dealing with because of that. So you don't confront it. You have not confronted it. Now, there's appropriate ways and effective ways of confronting that. Now, a person that's a bully, in that scenario, you have to confront that in a certain way. You have to be smart about how you deal with issues. If you have the job, you need the job to pay your bills and things like that. You don't want to go in the office and say, hey, I'm sick of this. I'm not going to take this anymore. And this is, you have to be smart because most likely you're going to be handed, if this person isn't a manager, you're going to be handed a pink slip. And if you have not made the steps to be able to handle the financial repercussions, that might not be the best approach to deal with that. So when confronting issues, it does not mean being foolish and just dealing with it haphazardly. Put a plan together, but it does need to be confronted, especially those things that I mentioned. Workplace bullying is a serious issue. You know, people deal with all kinds of things because of that. You know, so that's something that has to be confronted. You have to deal with those things. And also to take care of problems before those molehills become mountains. You know, you hear the saying all the time, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Well, sometimes a molehill will become a mountain if you don't deal with it while it is a molehill. You know, some things you brush off. You know, there's a saying, don't sweat the small stuff. Some things you don't even need to worry about. Some things you just need to let go over your head. You know, a comment is made. Somebody makes a snide remark. You know, someone's rude. It's like, okay, you let it go and let that stay that person's problem. But certain things do need to be handled and certain things do need to be addressed. They need to be addressed appropriately, though. And so that's when you have to determine, okay, is this molehill, is this something that I can just step over and keep moving and will never affect me again? Or is this molehill, because there's dirt constantly being kicked on this molehill because of whatever is going on, after a while, if I don't deal with this molehill is going to become a mountain. And at that point, not to say that that mountain can't be dealt with, but it takes more to deal with a mountain than it does a molehill. So it's easier to address an issue when it is small than when it becomes larger in scale, and now it becomes more difficult. You may have to get more people involved, just like the example I gave about the workplace bullying or workplace harassment. If it's at the beginning and it simply could be addressed with HR, and you can just ask maybe for a transfer, or you start working to get a promotion, and that promotion would just send you to a different department. So you're actually dealing with it in two ways. First, you're working on a promotion, and one, you're working to get away and out of this environment of this person that is causing, that's causing you, some real issues, whatever's going on there. So in that, you dealt with it. You saw that, okay, this is going to be a problem, and this is something that I do not want to deal with. So you put yourself in a position where you start to, with the example I gave about a promotion, do what's necessary so you can get a promotion. The promotion will automatically move you away from that person. So that's dealing with it while it's a molehill. So let's say, for instance, you stay there. This person, I read this case, this is a real case, and this happened in California. Actually, it was a judge. And he had, I don't believe it was a clerk, probably something similar to maybe like an administrative assistant, but there were several in this particular department. But it started off very innocent. She had a child. She was going through some issues with, I believe, her spouse. I believe she had an affair with, I believe, the bailiff or the court clerk. The judge knew about it. And so little by little, he kind of started using that against her, and, she was having financial problems, so he would offer her little gifts just to help her. But after a while, this became into more money. He started calling her more, kind of, started really trying to lead it into an affair. Then he would, threaten, I think, told her he would send, a letter was sent to her husband about the affair with the bailiff, but it was something he made up. But this was a real case. It actually went to the Judicial Council. So this was a molehill in the beginning. An innocent, well, I can help you, your son with baseball. How about I just pay this for you? And she was becoming more and more uncomfortable, but she just brushed it off. And after a while, it just became so huge. Then her family, got her husband involved, where he would start calling while she was at home. And, it was putting her in a situation was putting her marriage in jeopardy. And she had to deal with it, like, stop calling. Then he threatened to kill himself and, commit suicide, and, it was just all kind of issues that went on. And at that point, I don't know if she reported or a friend, because I think she finally confided in someone after a while, or something happened to maybe the friend. I don't know if the judge ended up going to the friend or whatever, the person, that coworker. But anyways, it ends up going to the Judicial Council. It turns into a case. I believe this judge, I don't know if he, how he was reprimanded in that. but it started off small, a molehill. The molehill turned into a mountain. And I think at one point it was that she looked into, or maybe I believe one of the questions during the case was, why did she get transferred, or maybe she did try to get transferred or something like that. So anyway, goes back to my statement of, dealing with it while it's a molehill. If you see that there's something that's making you uncomfortable, because in that situation, judge has way more power. You think, oh my God, how do you deal with that? It's very intimidating. So sometimes it's just getting out of there. Doing something, getting a promotion, and just simply moving on. Moving yourself out of there, or if it's to a different company, or a different job, you can do that as well. So challenges are real. Some of these challenges are not that difficult to deal with. Some of them are extremely difficult, very serious, and so you want to deal with those appropriately. You don't want to bring an axe and a chisel, to try to a huge building. It's not effective. You don't have the appropriate tools to deal with it. So you want to have the correct tools to deal with each problem. Sometimes you may need to go to someone and ask for some advice, and make sure that you can confide in that person. Because sometimes, example with this the workplace issue, you go to the wrong person at work, and your business is all around the office. So be careful, and also be very, cautious in how you're dealing with things that are dangerous. That are, I gave the example with the firm. I believe that was the name of the movie. One movie with Keanu Reeves. But that was serious. That was, his life was in jeopardy. His wife's life was in jeopardy. That was fictitious. The last example I gave with the judge, that was a real case. That was a real situation that went to the Judicial Council. So there can be career challenges that are not just, oh my God, my coworker is envious of me, or my boss is very rude. There can be some very serious things that you come across in your career. So being able to handle those things appropriately are important so that you don't derail your entire career because of a challenge that comes your way. So hopefully this session was useful. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. You can reach out to us, info@rainmakersonline.com, if you have any questions. You can reach us 800-580-6068. But the best way to reach out is on our website, rainmakersonline.com, and there's a contact button on the lower right of any page, and you can reach out that way. Best way to reach out. Also, if you would like to register for future Power Breaks, go to the blog, and those are posted there. Thank you for your time, and have a great rest of your day.